it get annoying that you are constantly seen as the ladies' man, and does it affect your chances?
Seriously, what? Does that annoy you?
Because I wonder if it affects your chances sometimes, because girls just see you as a ladies' man.
The truth is I don't like to complain about things like that because they're quite trivial, and in perspective, it's not a big part of everything, and I understand why people gossip because everybody does it. On the other hand, I guess it's the only time it's annoying is if you actually like someone and then they start seeing stuff and they're like, well, what about this? And it's like, well, that's not true. Because, saying that's not true gets old after a while.
Yeah, how many times did you say it?
I'm bored of it.
Harry Styles just kicked off his brand new Together tour, and instead of the internet exploding with hype, it has exploded with complaints. Fans are calling it a restricted view disaster, a VIP ripoff, and some are even saying his heart just isn't in it anymore. So what exactly went wrong on opening night? Let's get into it. Harry announced the Together tour at the beginning of this year. The plan? 7 cities with a massive 30-date run in New York City alone. By any measure, this is a huge undertaking, stadium-level legacy artist territory. So when fans showed up to the Amsterdam opener last Saturday, the expectations were sky high. What they got, according to a large and very vocal portion of the crowd, was something that fell well short of those expectations. The first thing people couldn't stop talking about was the stage, and not in a good way. The stage was enormous, spanning most of the arena floor, and reportedly similar in concept to the old One Direction skate park design, but much taller. For fans in the upper sections and further back in the pit, it actually worked fine. They could see the full show, nothing blocked their sightlines, and many of them reported having a genuinely great time. But for the fans who paid the most, the ones who spent hundreds of euros on VIP floor and pit tickets, who lined up for hours to get to barricade, it was a different story entirely. The stage was so tall and so wide that unless Harry was performing directly in front of where you were standing, you were barely seeing him. And the bridges extending from the main stage made it even worse, raising the floor level and blocking sightlines for huge sections of the pit. One fan wrote, "Who was going to tell me that my 345 VIP ticket was actually a ticket with a restricted view?" Another said simply, "Barricade is not worth it. Do not bother queuing." Someone else calculated that from their spot, they couldn't see Harry for a full 20 minutes of the show. Now, some people pushed back and said you could just step back a little to get a better angle. And others made the point that the whole concept of this album era is about dancing and having fun, not standing at the front trying to get the perfect photo. Fair enough. But when you've spent $350+ on a VIP ticket and been told you're getting a premium experience, finding out mid-show that your view is restricted without any prior warning feels like a serious failure on the production side. Then came the VIP goodie bags. One fan posted a haul of everything included: a cosmetic bag, a keychain, nail polish, some stickers, and a nail file. That's it. For a ticket that costs upwards of $1,000 in some markets, people were not impressed. Comments ranged from their cleaning out the pleasing warehouse, pleasing being Harry's own beauty brand, to not a poster, not a postcard, not a pin or a lanyard or a tote bag. Nothing. The general sentiment was that, for the price point, the value just wasn't there. Beyond the logistics, fans also took aim at the performance itself. Multiple people noted that in the first couple of shows, Harry wasn't singing full lyrics, particularly avoiding high notes and leaning heavily on the crowd to carry key moments. One fan wrote, "Pov, Harry Styles skips the most important line in the most important song." Others speculated he might have been sick, which is totally plausible given the demands of kicking off a stadium tour. But some weren't so generous, with comments like, "His heart's not in it," and "Everything I see about this tour feels so off." Fans who attended and posted full video reviews had more nuanced takes. One first-time Harry concert-goer said the show ran under 2 hours, featured around 20 to 21 songs, no outfit changes, almost no dancers, and, perhaps most surprisingly for a dance-oriented album era, no confetti. She said certain songs were genuinely incredible live, including Sign of the Times and American Girls, but overall the show felt underwhelming given the scale of the production. Her main issue was the same one everyone kept coming back to. The stage was enormous, but nothing was really being done with it. Just Harry, running around, with very little to fill the space. Another fan echoed this frustration, pointing out that for a residency of this scale, 10 shows in one city, another 10 somewhere else, then a massive 30-show stretch in New York, audiences expected something much more immersive. Not necessarily giant pyrotechnics or elaborate choreography, but at least a stronger sense of creative direction. She explained that there were several moments during the show where the giant screens simply faded to black for multiple minutes, while the crew reset and Harry disappeared backstage. In an arena or theater setting, maybe that kind of downtime slips by unnoticed. But in a massive stadium filled with tens of thousands of people, every dead moment becomes painfully obvious. According to her, the issue isn't that Harry Styles needs backup dancers or some over-the-top spectacle. It's that fans expected the production to feel intentional. Stadium residencies are usually designed to create a world, visual interludes, cinematic transitions, audience interaction moments, and thematic storytelling, something that makes the experience feel unique and unforgettable. Instead, some attendees felt like they were watching an artist, still figuring out what kind of show he wanted this to be in real time. And the comparisons to Harry's own past work are unavoidable. Multiple fans brought up Love on Tour, which somehow managed to feel bigger despite being technically simpler. That tour didn't rely on huge costume changes or complex stage theatrics either, but the energy was undeniable from the second Harry walked out. The crowd interaction felt spontaneous, the pacing never dragged, and even people who attended casually often left calling themselves full-blown Harry Styles fans afterward. It became less of a concert and more of a cultural event, the kind people talked about for months. That's why some longtime fans are nervous now. They're wondering whether this new residency has the same emotional spark. Because while ticket sales may still be strong, the bigger question is whether people are walking away transformed by the experience or just thinking, yeah, that was decent. And for an artist operating at Harry's level, decent isn't really the standard people expect anymore. At the same time, plenty of fans are urging everyone to slow down before declaring the entire tour a disaster. This was the opening stretch of a huge stadium run, and early shows are notoriously messy. Productions evolve constantly once real audiences are in the building. Songs get rearranged. Transitions get tightened. Camera work improves. Entire stage elements can disappear overnight if the backlash is loud enough, which is why many people believe those controversial bridges causing sightline complaints could easily be removed or redesigned later. There's also the possibility that Harry simply wasn't feeling his best during opening night. Some attendees specifically mentioned that he seemed lower energy than usual and leaned heavily on crowd sing-alongs during certain vocal moments. If he was battling exhaustion, illness, or even just opening night nerves, that could explain a lot of the criticism surrounding the performance itself. And honestly, the timing of all this may have worked against the tour from the start. Because in the days leading up to the Amsterdam opener, the internet barely seemed focused on the music at all. The dominant Harry Styles conversation online suddenly became his personal life. Specifically, reports claiming that Harry and Zoe Kravitz are now engaged. That rumor completely hijacked social media discourse. Casual fans who might have been talking about stage design, set lists, or tour anticipation were instead debating engagement rings, celebrity timelines, and relationship gossip. Then came the Channing Tatum side of the internet. Since the engagement rumors started circulating, Channing, Zoe's ex-fiancé, has reportedly been posting a series of emotional, cryptic, and honestly very internet-analyzable content online. One post referenced his heart and brain divorcing a decade ago. Another showed people smacking each other with pool noodles as some kind of bizarre healing exercise. Whether he's genuinely processing heartbreak publicly or people are wildly overinterpreting harmless posts is impossible to say. But online audiences have already decided there's a deeper meaning behind everything he uploads now. So instead of the tour dominating headlines, the entire rollout somehow got tangled up in celebrity relationship drama, engagement rumors, and a completely separate Channing Tatum meme cycle happening at the exact same time. So that's where we are. A highly anticipated stadium tour that opened to mixed to negative fan reactions. A VIP package that left a lot of people feeling shortchanged. A stage design that's being called the worst ever by some of the people who paid the most to be closest to it. And a celebrity engagement story swirling in the background that may have stolen the pre-tour momentum entirely. It's been a chaotic first week. I genuinely want to know what you think, especially if you were at any of the Amsterdam shows or you have tickets coming up. Do you think this is a case of opening night nerves that'll iron themselves out, or does it feel like something more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one.